Welcome back to Blackout, House of Bob's cyberpunk adventure set in the Vantal Megaplex and powered by the Sprawl RPG system.
Hey, I'm Shaun, and I'm playing Cass, the ex-skip tracer fighting to pay his debts and settle old scores.
Hi, I'm Shubert. I'll be playing Bunk, the beat hacker.
I'm Dan. I'll be playing Tiz, the hard-nosed reporter, tracking down corruption no matter the cost.
Hi, I'm Cristina, and I'm playing the action star Jin Bae. You might know me as Sarge from my film series, Exodus Base, The Last Sun, 1-7.
And I'm Jake, your GM. If you want to support the show, check us out on Patreon, give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, or just tell your friends about us. Roll on. So over the last few sessions, you guys have been doing your research into the Exhale warehouse, and you followed a few leads, and you found a lot of good evidence regarding the animal experimentation that's been covered up and happening in these facilities out in the Cascades. This is just supporting evidence, though, and you still need that, key intel that will be able to tie everything together to make this indisputable. So right now, in preparation for your guys' infiltration into the Exhale warehouse, Jin and Cass are driving down to the Cascades to the facility itself to get a little sneaky peek and stake out the place. Jin and Cass, you're in your Thule's plumber van that you guys have repurposed to try to look like you belong here. And you've driven through most of the city. You're reaching the border between Van proper and the Cascades. And you're coming up to a bit of a backlog of cars, maybe a line about 12 deep. And you know that this is where the inspection and checkpoint is between the two regions. Now, you knew this was coming. You knew that they would expect paperwork and a manifest for the truck. And what have you done to prepare for that?
We have a paperwork and a manifest for the truck.
And how did you get that? How did you make it look legit? How is it going to pass inspection?
I mean, we know prop people. I feel like I've definitely probably had somebody mock one up for us.
So I think that's a good way to create one, but you still need to know what to put on it, right? So there's going to be a certain code or a certain, clearance phrase, or, you need a little bit of information about how to actually create this document. So that's what we need to find out.
I got a couple intel here. Could I spend one of those on that?
I think absolutely, yeah. So that intel was from when you guys were researching Elena, and she works for the Regulatory Commission, a big part of which will be these inspection points, right? So yeah, you can absolutely use your intel there to find out the correct format and correct information you need on this paperwork.
So yeah, we've got like a manifest, a vehicle registration. We've got whatever the, pass card to transport between zones. Mm-hmm. Got like a fake ID. And the makeup department's like giving both of us like fake noses.
For sure.
Fake noses.
I got a fake little stubby beard coming through for sure.
They've given me like a false tattoo on my neck.
Yeah, Sarge, you're going to have to go real undercover in this one. You're pretty
recognizable. A little bit of distraction.
So.
We're both pretty knowable.
That's true. Cass is notable for other reasons.
Yeah.
The world's most international movie superstar and the world's most wanted recent boat terrorist.
Boat terrorist.
I
like the idea that maybe part of it, the fact that we'd be together, is maybe part of our disguise, because no one would think.
No one would ever
the most
suspect.
Unlikely of pairings.
Yeah, exactly.
A real criminal and Jin.
The guy who plays criminals.
The guy who plays a criminal on TV.
I thought you always played the good guy.
Of course, but
he's an anti-hero. Plays the criminal who became a hero.
Exactly.
How are we creating these disguises? Are we spending money on it? Are we using gear?
I don't think either of us has gear, though, is the only problem.
No, I do have a gear.
Cass does have a gear from Plan Comes Together, but you can use that for other things, too.
Can it just be flavor disguises?
If it's flavor disguises, then that means I'm going to have someone recognize him.
Yeah. Can I then use a contact card and say I'm using like a...
there you go.
A guy I know owes me a favor in the makeup department.
Yeah, you can. Keep in mind, you'll still have to do a roll for a contact, right? To make sure that you can call in favor. But yeah, if you want to do that, sure.
Yeah.
All right. Just a quick idea of who this person is.
Yeah, just a guy I worked with one summer for a movie, and we always had a standing poker night. And one time he lost pretty big, and I said, hey, don't worry about it. Like, I'll cover you because I know, you do good work, but doesn't mean we get paid a ton. So the fact that I helped him out that one time, he's always a little bit owed me, but I've never called it in until now.
Okay, sounds good. When you go to a contact for help, roll style.
Well, I rolled a 9 and I have a +2 style.
Whoa.
That's very good. So A, you get what you want, which is disguises for both you and
Sick disguises.
Cass. Sick disguises. Is it just a big nose and stubbly beard? Is that what I heard?
For me, yeah.
What was this guy's name again? Your contact?
His name is David.
You should get like a fake stomach or something to hide those abs. They're almost like their own character in your movies.
Yeah, sure.
Just a pillow.
I feel like with that good of a role, maybe he brought a little bit of costuming along with that he had.
Well, on an 11, you get a little something extra, either intel or gear. So, yeah, I mean, if you want to take a gear, you have a little something extra for later.
Yeah, sure.
You should get like a huge beer gut that you can store things in.
There you
Yeah,
go.
make it like a zipper. Yeah.
Trapdoor beer gut.
Mm-hmm.
Cass's disguise, he's got like a distracting neck tattoo and like
Distracting.
Yeah, it's so hideous. Oh my God.
It's something unmentionable. And then he's got like a prosthetic forehead to like make him look more Neanderthalish. Got like a unibrow. Yeah, that should be distracting enough.
Yeah.
Cool. Little movie magic, and you guys are unrecognizable. So the line's going pretty fast. There's a few lanes that the cars, trucks, and vehicles move through. And eventually you pull up to the front, and there's a bored-looking man behind the desk and asks for your papers and registration and manifest. Asks you a few questions like, where are you heading? And when do you due back?
Here you go. We got a plumbing job out of the city. We gotta head out to the Cascades. There's like a ranger station that needs a new toilet.
And Cass is freaking out.
That's part of his character.
Yeah, Jin just hands the papers over. He's just like, we got a job to do, man.
He's much cooler about all this plumbing stuff than I am.
He's a real jock plumber, yeah.
I'm pulling on his years at Juilliard not for this.
Jin went to Juilliard?
No. No, not really.
Shaun, is that just a character that Cass is playing, or is he actually nervous about this?
This is Cass dropping his cowboy accent.
So that's just his regular.
Yeah.
So that means he is freaking out.
So is he nervous though?
I think he's not putting on airs anymore.
Right.
Are you telling me that accent was fake the whole time?
Bombshell.
Big reveal. Yeah.
The man kind of looks through the papers and compares them to something on his terminal and clicks a few buttons and jots down some information and says, free to go, and hits the button on his desk and the arm raises up and you're free.
And I just do a little salute as I drive on by.
Wait, that salute looked
that's
just like he did in that movie.
I know. I was about to say, don't do that.
Don't use your signature move.
Cool. So yeah, you guys continue your drive out. The city landscape gives way to a little more rural. It is rural, but it's very industrial. So there's a lot of, you see cleared forests and strip mines and things like that. And eventually arrive at where you understand the facility to be. You take an exit off of the highway, and there are like acres and acres of tree farms here. Several levels of vertical terrace tree farms that they look a little overgrown now. Some of the trees are kind of pushing out of their containers, and there's vines and moss and stuff. And what's your approach? How far up are you getting? Are you going right up to the gate, or kind of what's the general approach plan here?
I was kind of picturing that this might be in a lower section of like a larger network of roads or hills or something like that. And we could kind of like get up onto the hill along the highway or on another side road and look down into the complex. Is that possible?
There are mountains on the far side, but they'd be really far out of your way. Closer, though, there are the tree farms. You could climb up several levels of the tree farm and overlook from there.
Is it possible to drive up into them?
Like you can drive to them, then you'll have to climb vehicle-less, though.
Well, I mean, tree farms probably have like hydroponics or something like that. So maybe we could work on some sprinkler systems.
That sounds good. Yeah, we're Toolies, plumbing, and sprinkler.
For all your water needs.
Yeah, sounds good. You pull the car up first to just outside of these tree farms, and they kind of, tower over you a little bit, and you find there's some scaffolding for workers to climb up to the upper levels, and you do so. And from here, you can get a pretty good view of the facility. And we described it a little bit last time, but there's a fairly simple chain link fence that goes along the outside perimeter. But from here, you can see the individual buildings are a little more secure with thicker security doors and CCTV cameras every once in a while. You can see the pulp mill section of the factory. One of the smoke stacks has collapsed and it has fallen into the factory, as well as you can see a section of the warehouse that is burnt out. Any particular questions about it beyond what you can easily see from here?
You said there was CCTVs or like cameras, I mean?
Yeah, so along the outer perimeter.
And then next question on that would be like, are they facing out or facing in? Or both?
Or both. What are they hiding?
Who are they watching?
So like along the fence, the outer perimeter there is the chain link fence. And it does have cameras occasionally facing out, more focused around the entrances and the river. And then on the inside of the facility, kind of where each of these individual buildings are, there are more cameras as well.
Well, I think I definitely want to try to see what is the most unrecorded area. Like, do they have a little bit of a gap in the system somewhere?
Mm-hmm. So why don't you roll an assess check and we'll find out.
You guys have the drone with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
The camera drone?
Yep.
Would I be able to assist in helping Jin take a look, see around with the drone?
By actually moving the drone about, or?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Just
sure,
by getting a bird's eye view.
Jin rolled an 8 + 1, so 9.
Can we turn that into a 10?
Oh no, I just rolled a 6.
No, that doesn't do it then.
Mm-hmm. But you didn't fail, so.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, you start moving the camera kind of in between the levels of the tree farm and closer to the facility, still hugging the tree line, but getting along the perimeter of the fence. And at one point, Bunk, you notice that, like one of the cameras is doing a quick turn and you have to duck the drone back into the farm. So you aren't able to get further into the complex as far as you wanted. But Jin is still able to ascertain a little information. You get one question from the list. What potential complication do I need to be wary of? What do I notice despite an effort to conceal it? How is blank vulnerable to me? How can I avoid trouble or hide here? What is my best way in, way out, way past? Where can I gain the most advantage? Who or what is my biggest threat? And who or what is in control here? If you wanted to see, where the surveillance is weakest, that would be what is my best way in, way out?
Yeah, I think that's exactly the one I'm going to go with.
Mm-hmm. So your best bets would be either, I mentioned at the warehouse, there was one section of wall which was burnt out. You have a feeling this was from when there was the activist attack here many years ago. And so part of the wall is collapsed there. And you can see some of the, the camera post that was right beside that section of the fence has been destroyed. There's also the river. It comes down from the mountain and crosses through the facility. There are cameras there, but just by the nature of there being a river there, you could, go underwater or something like that. There's just more options there to get past at the river as well. So those would be your options.
Okay. That sounds good. I think the other thing maybe we'd want to do is try to get a little bit of a schedule going, at least for this day, and see.
Yeah. Do we have anybody coming in and out? When do they leave? That sort of thing. Is there like a night shift, day shift?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. You've been waiting here for a bit and you haven't spotted anybody yet. I think let's get Cass, since Cass hasn't rolled an assess yet. Let's have him do one, and we'll just use this to see if you happen to spot anybody coming or going, because it's not very regular.
Yeah, for sure. I got, a 13.
Oh my goodness. What's your bonus on that? 3 or?
+2.
+2, so you got 11. Okay. Well, pretty good, I guess.
Natural 11.
Mm-hmm. So you're here for several hours during the day, and eventually you do see a truck pull off of the highway and start heading towards the facility. It's kind of a standard trailer truck, and it is pulling up to the gate off of the road there. Are you acting or just watching?
Watching.
Okay.
Yeah.
It pulls up to the gate. There's a couple seconds that pass and the gate opens up. He drives in, and there's a little kind of shipping receiving area right near the front. The truck backs in. You see him get out of the truck.
While we're watching, Cass is getting license plate number and binoculars, trying to ID this guy if you can.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. The individual themselves looks pretty nondescript. No obvious identifying features on them. There is a vehicle registration number on the back plate that you're able to grab as it backs into the loading dock. And after about maybe 15 minutes, the driver pops back into the truck and starts to drive off.
Did he drop off anything?
I mean, you couldn't see. The truck was backed into the loading dock, so presumably something was removed from the back of the truck.
I'm going to text Bunk the license plate number and get him to run some deets on it for me.
Sure.
I also record what time the vehicle came.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, we'll say it was 9:35 a.m., right? Just early morning. And you wait there kind of the rest of the morning and into the early afternoon, and that's the only sign of life that you see.
At what time do we arrive? Do we come in the morning or do we come at night?
Up to you. We have specified.
I think we came just early morning. This would be maybe we got there at 6 or 5:30 a.m. So around that time.
And I feel like Cass would want to get a 24-hour cycle if he could to really see is somebody coming in at night or anything like that.
If we can without, blowing our spot, sure.
Yeah, I think, the longer you wait, the more chance there is that something goes wrong, but you certainly could wait it out longer if you like.
I think so. I think if we get somebody coming and poking around, we're just waiting for another van to bring us apart or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever is receiving, do they stay there forever or do they leave once a day? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind
Do
of
you guys see any cars parked there or anything?
There are a couple vehicles in the parking lot, but they look abandoned. Doesn't look like they've been used.
Derelict.
You guys should stay there all day and see if anyone it could be automatic. We know there's robots in there.
I think I'm willing, to take that risk to at least go till 8 or 8:30ish kind of in the evening.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, if you let's do one more roll then. Let's call it maybe a cool check just to wait it out long enough.
How cool are you, Jin?
I'm one cool.
I am also one cool. Look at us, cool buddies.
Well, one can aid and one can roll.
You go ahead.
Okay. Are you aiding?
I don't have a link with you, so I will roll it flat. Yeah. I got an 8.
I rolled a 7 plus 1, so 8.
So partial success.
Yeah.
It's kind of unnervingly quiet. Other than that one delivery, that's basically all you see. Near the end of this period of stakeout, you do see there's a little security drone that starts doing a perimeter of the facility. But it doesn't really even seem like was activated by something. It's just running some pre-programmed route, right? And otherwise, it's very quiet. That's about all you see.
I don't like it.
It's too quiet.
Makes me uneasy.
Definitely.
I mean, if nobody's coming or going and not even any vehicles parked here, maybe they're coming in and out on a subterranean tunnel or something, or leaving through the river, or hell, they could be even flying in on a helicopter and dropping people off. Could be any of a number of things.
You would have seen the helicopter.
Well, yeah, but we've been here for 12 hours. Thanks, Tiss. Over and out.
Chimes in over the headset.
While they were waiting for so long, would I be able to run that plate?
Yeah. What do you want to find out from it?
Well, I guess we know who the vehicle belongs to.
We don't know the driver or anything like that.
Maybe it might be good to see if this truck comes very often to this spot. The same one over and over again. Same
Yeah,
To get their GPS coordinates or something.
Those red light cameras and stuff, maybe there's records of it moving through
or get those checkpoint logs. That'd be good.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, every car obviously emits its location at all times via the 6G network. Just through its antenna, right?
So cancerous, yeah.
Obviously, yeah.
I guess what I'm trying to find out about the car is, what they said. I want to find out where this car has been.
Okay. How about you do I guess it's probably going to be a hacking thing then, because you need to get into the right systems to get that information. So we'll call it a sync. Or synth, sorry.
Got to log in.
Please.
I rolled a 10. And I have +1 synth, so 11.
Sure. So you get into the kind of city traffic computer and you're able to, pinpoint, there's those little traffic stops here and there, or traffic cameras here and there. And you're able to get a rough route of where this truck has been recently. And, a lot of these trucks are used for many purposes. So this isn't the only route that this truck has done, but it has repeated this route about once a week.
Okay. Obviously, I'll download a log of all that information of where it's been and all that. Send it on over to Cass and Jin.
Anything else that Cass and Jin are doing here at the facility?
No, I think that's basically we've hit our objectives, and then our only other objective is to get back without any hassle.
I think we have figured something out, like that this vehicle comes once a week. So we could choose to come on a night where it would make a delivery or on a night where it wouldn't.
Exactly. And then we've kind of got some ideas of where we can get in.
Yeah. So we'll head back to town, reconvene, and actually do this thing.
Let's get back to HQ. And I give you a big old slap on the back, Cass.
Ow.
On Cass and Jin's drive back, Tiss and Bunk, was there anything that you guys wanted to do in the meantime, or just waiting for everybody to reconvene?
Nope, nothing in particular. I'm probably working on my story or something.
You guys go for lunch, get a gelato.
Mm-hmm. Working on some beats.
I'm not a wanted man, so I can go out.
You're rubbing that in a bit.
Yeah.
Salt in the wound.
I actually think that Bunk has been busy helping us, so you probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Bunk was over the net at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tiz just takes a mini vacation, a daycation.
Oh, that's nice.
Yep.
You're really helping the team, man.
I can't hack, and I didn't go on the mission, so.
No, but I mean, you could do some research or something. That's your thing, isn't it?
You have to take a break sometimes, Jin.
Yeah. In the middle of a mission is usually when I take my break.
Get off his back already.
You guys have a lot of information, I think, already. Doing extra research isn't necessarily always a good thing, because then you're drawing more attention to yourself.
That's
so
true.
If you guys are happy with that, then you reconvene back at HQ, which do you just meet back up at the studio, or do you have somewhere else you want to go?
Well, I think we've all been holed up in one of my vacation houses.
Oh,
Yeah.
tell us about that.
It's pretty nice. It's one of those floating apartments that you hear so much about on the all the celebrity news channels.
Like floating on water or in the air?
In the air.
That's very fancy.
Yeah, you can drive it around if you really want to, but I just leave it where
It's kind of like
at.
our van.
Yeah, it's like a van, except if a van was super sweet in this case.
It's got an infinity pool, but you can't drive the apartment too fast or else it'll kind of slosh over the edge.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're glamping or something.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
It's a yurt.
It's just a... But I say, as Jin, I'm just all oh yeah, sorry guys that we have to slum it in this place, but it's
Okay.
It's the closest one to our HQ with Redshift.
I found your secret hot tub, by the way.
Oh, the one upstairs?
Yeah.
Behind the wall?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm in it right now.
that's weird, man. That's my special hot tub.
Jin, we'll forgive you for taking us to this dump if, once all this is done, you take us to the good place.
To the good place? Yeah, no problem, man. I will show you around. We can go to Italy and fucking stay at my villa out there.
Italy still exists.
I mean,
What's
it's
left of
subterranean
Italy?
now, but
Canon. It's canon.
They call it Italy now. Yeah.
Italy.
Oh my God.
Depends on your accent.
Yeah, so Do you guys want to recap the information that you have, or at least the bits that you think are important that you want to act on?
Yeah, I think maybe we'll want to decide, do we want to intercept this vehicle, or are we trying to totally, work around that so that way we'd have less to deal with in that respect, but then not as cool looking if we can intercept the vehicle. So there is the ups and downs on that.
We could also use it as an escape as well, like time our infiltration around what time it would be coming, and then hop on it as it's leaving, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Get a clean way out.
That's kind of cool. But then that means we have to do it early in the morning and not in the evening, most likely.
You can't sleep in.
Yeah.
This is true, but based off our information, we know there really aren't people coming and going. So I don't know if time matters so much.
The XAL warehouse is supposedly kind of out of commission, right? As far as the public knows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It sounds like the perfect place to have like one of those secret shows that you only tell your fans about, like, 8 hours before the actual show begins.
Pop-up show.
Yeah,
Oh my
a pop-up
God.
show.
This is genius.
Hey, Bunk fans, y'all want to come down to the XAL warehouse? We're having a huge show tonight. Like, fast
So
enough.
definitely
that,
go on the noise chart.
Yeah.
It would, but it's kind of interesting though.
I'm not saying we should do this. I'm just putting it out
We could
there.
put that in the back pocket for like a distraction if things go
That's,
really wrong.
yeah, that's our escape plan.
Yeah, if we have a show going on there, then they can't deliver the package, and then we could reroute them at that point.
That also puts your name on it, though, because then they'll be like, why are you guys here? We're here to see Bunk. Oh. And then they know who you are.
Well, maybe it's not just me. Maybe I get all my social media homies in on it, and I'm not even like a headliner.
You're just spreading the word.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're doing your own, like, what was that? Fire Island or whatever the heck. Fire Festival.
Yeah.
I think this is a good escape plan. Let's keep this in our pocket.
Yeah. All right. That's a backup plan.
That sounds good. So I guess it really just comes down to, do we want to have the thing there, the guy driver coming in or out, or do we want to totally then avoid him if we've kind of got this back pocket plan?
Well, he was in and out in 15 minutes. So that means he was probably just offloading the truck into shipping and receiving.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not walking around the facility or anything like that. So
No.
I don't think we have to worry too much about him, but it'd be nice to use him as some sort of advantage.
Well, and I'd like to see or capture on tape whatever it is he's dropping off.
That too,
Yeah, the inside stuff would be good.
Okay, how do we want to get in?
River's good, except for the only thing is that means more like having to waterproof everything.
Yeah, and there's less control, right? We only go
Yeah.
one way.
In my opinion, anyways, I think that the broken down wall, the burnt out wall, is definitely a really good way to go because one, great set piece. Number two, also the second best place to get in there.
Yep, I'm cool with that. What side of the complex was that on? Is that where the silo collapsed?
No, that's where a bit of the warehouse wall is burnt out. That's basically the entry point that the activists took way back when. The smokestack would have been in the pulp mill there and has collapsed into the factory.
Okay. I think River's pretty cinematic too, honestly. But
Do we want to spend gear on scuba gear when we could just...
I could use a contact. I could know a whitewater rafter.
You could. That's
Yeah.
true.
From that one time I went whitewater rafting.
I was definitely on the same page with Cass as like thinking about like waterproofing everything, having us have the the actual scuba gear, and then we'd have to like change out of that clothes. Then there's a union break somewhere in between there.
You need to have your makeup and hair done again after you get out of the water.
Exactly.
It would look good on film.
Maybe you guys can just CG some water in after.
There you go.
We'll have maybe what we'll do is
green
we'll
screen
have
the river and
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We'll get a drone to come in, get a couple of really cinematic river shots and green screen it after the fact.
we'll send some dummies down the river to make it look like that's how we got in. Yeah. And film it with the drone.
Yeah, I'll call
Good
my
idea. I
stunt
like
guy and his
Yeah.
friend.
So we're sneaking in through the fence is what I'm getting.
Apparently.
Uh-huh.
Sounds like it.
Uh-huh.
But saying we went through the river for the movie.
We'll see.
Okay. Sure. We're going in through the fence. The warehouse is probably where we want to be anyway.
Yeah, I would say I want to hit up warehouse. I want to hit up shipping and receiving. And I want to get into the factory. Yeah, the pulp mill seems like the least interesting aspect of everything. So,
What's the security cameras like? Did you guys look around that area?
Yeah, there's basically at that point where the fence is burnt out, there's one less camera because there was a camera there.
Okay, they never replaced it.
Otherwise, they're at fairly regular intervals.
Okay. Cool. You guys ready to gear up and head out?
You
let's
got
do
it.
this, baby.
All right, montage.
Yeah.
I'm putting on war paint and I have like a gun strapped to every part of my body. Actually, I don't do guns anymore.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, what does gearing up look like? Is there anything particular you guys are grabbing? You do have gear that you can spend later, but if there's anything you want to buy or use your guys' budget for, that kind of thing, now's the time.
Yeah, I think some tactical outfits would definitely be good here. Both in the armor, but mostly I would say like camouflage.
Can anyone buy some of that sweet camo those Mass Corp guys had? Remember that stuff that literally was like an active camo?
Oh yeah, that made you blend in.
That's probably a bit out of your price range.
Yeah.
But there was the stuff that Garrett had, which is, it's not invisibility, but it just kind of lets you blend in with the surrounding colors a little bit.
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
Could we get a suit for all of us? Or is that just like expensive enough for one person? Or we get it for the biggest person and we all hide behind that person.
Just wingspan.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. You can all purchase one of these little Opticamo suits. They don't give any armor, right? Or they're just -1 on armor rolls, but not actually any harm reduction.
Mm-hmm.
But they give you a +1 for trying to remain unnoticed. But yes, you could all get one for one budget slot, I think.
Doesn't sound like the worst idea.
No, I think that's a good idea.
Cool cyberpunk stealth suits.
Cyberpunk. They're like flashing for some reason.
We should still use your like prosthetics and stuff or your
Oh, yeah,
Or
I'm
like-
taking them off.
exactly like we don't want you being seen. And if you are seen, we don't want them to know who you are.
Yeah, that's fine.
But Tiz and Bunk are not disguised currently. I wear a different hat.
Because we're filming, who are we focusing on?
Jin.
But
He's a
he's
star,
in
bro.
disguise and
He's still the star of the movie.
unrecognizable.
Actors wear disguises in movies.
That's factual, yeah.
I think you'd have a scene at the beginning where it shows Jin getting into costume,
It's,
right?
it's part of the movie.
There's a whole like putting on the cool armor cutscene.
I was just worried about continuity. That's all.
And strapping the big pot belly to your stomach.
Yeah, can that give me armor reduction?
Let's spend the last budget on like our artillery essentially.
Mm-hmm.
We could instead spend it on the escape route if we save it.
That doesn't seem very important to me.
The helicopter escape at the end.
I plan on dying on this hill, so
Oh, I mean, I've got a helicopter if that's what we need.
Or like jet skis waiting on the river for us to like jet ski off into the darkness.
If we get in a tight situation, I want to have some kind of personal defense. That's been important on past missions.
Yeah, I do think we need that for sure. And again, like I said, I got a helicopter on standby so I can tell my pilot, like, be waiting in the rafters.
screw that. Let's just fly your house here.
No, that sounds like a bad idea.
So are we buying weapons or what?
Yeah.
What are we getting?
I already have a pistol in my gears.
If we don't want to spend that budget, I can just go without a weapon.
You still have your flechette gun, right? Or you might have liquidated it. I think you did say you sold off most of your stuff.
Let's say I don't have it. It's more interesting if I don't have a weapon. I don't need a gun.
I have my own money. Can I just spend that?
You have a couple weapons already.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
And you do have your own money. Okay, so it sounds like we're all good then?
Yeah, I guess we're all good.
I'm not going to spend my other card because I still got to when a plan comes together, so I can use that as a gear or to magically appear in somebody's
Yeah.
scene. So I'm holding onto that.
Yeah, I still have 2 gear, 2 intel, and a contact, so I feel like that can all come into play later.
I guess I do want to do one thing. As Jin, I would like to maybe recruit a couple of my fans
Mhm.
as security in a way.
You have a kind of inner circle of your fans,
Mm-hmm.
which, I mean, this is my proposal for their name, the Jinfantry.
Infantry.
Nice.
I thought that was fine. I call individual ones like private and corporal and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And they're all like, meathead muscle men and women.
Meathead muscle people.
Meathead muscle people.
Equal opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember actually what tags you gave them?
Yeah, I do. So they are well armed and ex-military.
There you go. So these are your die-hard fans, and maybe quite literally die-hard if you're bringing them with you. But yeah, absolutely, you can get a couple of them to come with you.
Nice.
All right, it sounds like we're moving on to the action.
Yeah.
With the legwork clock at 2100, that means the action clock starts one higher, which puts it at 18. So you guys got a good 4 slots to play with for this mission. You still have a slot on the budget clock to, flash back to something that you picked up. You got a good amount of gear and intel throughout. One other question would be if you guys are making a plan at this point, a plan in the sense of your ability. I love it when a plan comes together.
Yeah, I'd love that +1 going into this.
So we're going to have camera cut to the war room. And we have a map in front of us. And Cass is putting his finger down on the map. And he's going to tell us something cool. All right.
No pressure.
You son of a bitch, I'm in.
Just let me roll this map
Yeah, you
here.
just hear in the background, cut. And take 2.
Been a long time since I've been on camera. So we're going to come in from the north here through this gap in the fence. We're going to breach this wall inside. Drone, I want right over top of Jin's shoulder. We're going to check all our corners, watch the doors. Don't anybody make too much noise. And if there is armed security in there, Tiss, Bunk, I want you at the back. I don't want you guys getting hurt in there.
Fair enough.
Thanks, Dad.
You're welcome, son. I mean, you heard me.
Yeah, you're everyone's dad.
So in order to get the benefit from love it when a plan comes together, you basically have to assign a task to the individual person. So
I would like Tiss to be recording.
Yeah.
I would like Bunk to be in charge of the drone, and that might be even in terms of using it as a distraction if need be or something like that.
Or like looking around corners or something.
Yeah. Jin, you are the face man. We need you in the thick of it, getting all of the action done.
For sure.
So that might be that you're knocking people out. That might be that you are the first through the door to see whatever dramatic reveal is about to happen. And I am there to provide moral and suppression support.
suppression support.
Suppressing fire is what I mean.
Mm-hmm. So moral and physical support.
Yeah.
Okay. So long as you guys stick to those tasks and don't fail any rolls, you guys get +1 on all your rolls.
I'm going to take one of those actual like handheld cameras. I'm not going to use my glasses for this, but I'll be recording on that too. But they obviously want like a good video.
Yeah, I assume you've got a couple cameras going.
I got like a shoulder cam. Yeah.
I'm recording some really crisp audio. I need samples later for my beats.
Last question on your way back. Thule's Plumbers again? Or?
Maybe we use the same van, but I feel like we should probably be Thule something else.
Thule is HVAC.
HVAC, yeah. That's very good, actually. I'm sure things like around here, they use that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you can see where it said plumbers underneath the paint, but now it says that we're diversifying.
All right. You guys all crowd into the Thule's HVAC truck. Some of you have weapons, some of you have camo suits, and you got the 2 Jinfantry folks in the back seat. And these people are like about as wide across as they are tall, so there's not a lot of room back there. Put the car into drive and you start driving off into the Cascades. We're going to quickly pop over, though, back to Olivia. So Olivia is still in the aviary with Mimi. The elevator door closes behind you, and you notice that Mr. Dayton did not enter with you. Mimi puts down their trowel and says, "I'm glad we have an opportunity to speak. We have a lot in common, actually." But they pause for a moment and look kind of up and right into the distance as if concentrating on something. And they say, "I think there's somebody else here who's happy to see you too." And there's a rustling of leaves from one of the trees, and a bolt of black feathers careens towards you. And your old partner, Jack, lands on your shoulder with a happy caw.
Oh no, only one of them.
Yeah. Mimi says, I'm very sorry. Only Jack returned to us. We don't know where Belle is, but I figured you'd still be happy to see him.
For sure. I think this is maybe the first time Olivia's actually smiled since she's been here. Like, she's more than fine of like spending their money and like being opulent, but it's mostly kind of in a way sort of a secret way to be spending their own money. So in that way, just to kind of get them a little bit in the pocketbook. But this actually makes her happy to see Jack. But she also is a little sad.
Mm-hmm. Are you saying anything, doing anything? Mimi is just kind of watching you for the moment.
I'm like cooing at the bird a little bit, but then I kind of stop and I look at them and I say, you said we're the same?
They nod and step a few steps towards you and kind of lean against a wall that's part of the garden here. I was once a lot like you used to be. No home, no family, no money, no meaning in life. And just like you, Mr. Dayton and MassCorp gave me all of that. In that sense, we're kind of like siblings. But they didn't just give me a place to stay. They gave me so much more. They gave me a purpose and the power to realize it. You began to get a taste of that power, but as Mr. Dayton has said, the work was incomplete. And they wait.
I mean, I don't think Olivia has much to say to that comment. Maybe she kind of turns her back to them and she's just not looking at them directly.
Makes sense. They look at one of the birds that's walking by, the little brown lyre bird, and they kind of motion at it and almost like they're conducting with their finger. Kind of point, and the bird follows the direction that they're pointing, and the bird goes over and grabs a trowel off of their tool cart there and brings it to them. And they start digging around in the dirt again a little bit. MassCorp has discovered something beyond what you know and what you've seen. This relationship with animals that you've been able to cultivate and I've been able to cultivate is just the beginning. Let me try something. And they pause for a moment. And then suddenly you feel very warm. And then that disappears. And then suddenly you start smelling roasting coffee. And then that passes. And then you start to feel cold. And then that passes. And you start to hear sounds of the ocean. And then that passes. And they say, animals were just the beginning. With this power, we can control anybody. And Olivia, you are close to harnessing that power as well. Your implant is old and it isn't finished, but with our help, you can have this power as well. And let's continue into it. Thank you for listening to the House of Bob. Please give us a review on Apple Podcasts. Tell a friend about the show. You can talk to us on social media at the House of Bob or on our Discord server. All the links are in the show notes. I want to let you guys know that we recently changed our Patreon tiers. If you weren't a patron previously, now's a great time to check it out. We got some new cool stuff, like a monthly blog post that we've added, some new zines as well. There's a lot of really cool stuff there, and we'd like you to see it. And we'd really appreciate the financial support. Helps us keep the lights on here. I'd like to thank our existing patrons, Volt, Tyler K., Tom Wesley, Mike, Sylvia Douglas, Scooter Emerson, Robert, Ray Kearney, Rowan Frick, Luke Conroy, Kieran Duffy, Keith Haddad, Josh Jordan, John Julius, Jessica, Luckett12, and William Wesley. Artwork for this episode was by Shaun at Shaun Makes. Audio production was by Alex of Astronomic Audio. Music was by John Julius, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution. That's all for today. Thanks very much for listening, everybody. Have a great day. Roll on.
Bye.
You do it in my outro.